Hi, welcome to Spotlight on Education. I'm Amy Fisher, the Director of Community Relations for the East Brunswick Public Schools and your host for this program. Our guest today is Dave Ambrosy, who has been behind the scenes at Channel 8 for many years. He is the director, the videotaper, and the editor of this program, and we're really happy to have you on this side of the camera today, Dave.
Oh, thanks, Amy.
When did you actually start working at Channel 8?
Well, I was working here at the library throughout high school, and when I graduated in '82, there was a position opened up here at Channel 8, and I started working here. And one of the things I found I was going to be working on was Spotlight on Education, and that was already in production at the time. And maybe you can tell everybody how that show got started.
And well, we actually started in 1981, and Kevin O'Rourke, who was the supervisor of Channel 8 at the time, the first supervisor, actually started just about everything that's been happening here. He called me up and asked me if I'd like to produce a show about the schools. And I said, well, I don't really know anything about television production. He said, oh, you can do it. And that's how we got started. And I'm happy to say that Channel 8 has saved all of the shows, so we can show a tape from our very first show in 1981.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Joseph Sweetie, Superintendent of Schools here in East Brunswick, and I'd like to welcome you to the first Spotlight on Education program on Channel 8. I want to thank the library for inviting us to present this monthly series. Each program we will include a different aspect of our schools: Board of Education news, information about curriculum, and reports on the many activities of our students. Our program tonight features Russell Walker, our board president. Dennis Clancy, our new assistant superintendent, also is listed on the schedule, but unfortunately he is unable to attend. However, he'll be on a later program. Now I'm going to ask Mr. Walker to tell about some of the major areas that the board has been concerned with during the school year. Mr. Walker, will you review for us the significance of the bond referendum that was approved by the voters in February?
The referendum, Joe, is a continuation of something that started back in 1972, and the board wanted to have a third junior high school, and they had a referendum at that time, which I was opposed to very vigorously. And from that point on, it was my position that we needed anything that would be needed at the high school.
Dave, we certainly have improved a lot since then. Let's look at the show that you were first involved with when you started becoming the director of the show. Okay,
well, this was only maybe 2 years after that first show, and as you'll see, once I started working here, the quality improved greatly. And actually, the studio just received some new equipment at the time, and this show that we're going to show is a project we did over the summer. And it's with Dr. Joseph Sweeney, and it's showing all the preparation for the upcoming school year. So we'll look at that.
Great.
Now we want to visit the band, which will be rehearsing under Mr. Tedeschi, their director, and then we'll go to something on maintenance. We'll show you how the buildings are maintained during the summer, and we also will go and see the new football coach, Marcus Borden, and that'll be the first practice that he'll conduct with the football team.
1, 2, 3, 4. Feet still have to come up, people, especially down here. Again. Mark time. Mark and 1, 2, 3, 4. Dennis, the whole body looks like you're in, doing aerobics. You don't have to do that. The top half of the body does not move. All right? From the waist up, it does not move. Keep those shoulders hips still. Here we go. Here we go. Mark time. Mark time.
One of the activities that we said we'd be reviewing would be maintenance and I guess really what we might call refurbishing of the buildings during the summertime. And we have Don Ewings, who's in charge of support service for administration, here to tell us a little bit about that. What are they doing down the hall here, Don?
Well, here in Churchill, we're repainting the entire school. Contrary to what most people believe, the maintenance department probably is in its bulk of the work during the summertime. Some of our major projects this year will consist of an entire new window wall package at 3 buildings of a Hammarskjöld school, a new interior lighting package for the high school auditorium. Bam, Monroe, and Frost School will have an entire new parking lot lighting system going in. I can go on and on, but these are just a few.
Yeah, no,
of what we
they're
have.
just...
Here we are at the high school now, and I'm talking to Marcus Borden, our new football coach, and they're beginning their first practice. Marcus, what kind of a team are we going to have? What are the prospects for us this year?
Well,
That's if you want to be committed so early.
right now, I'd say we're pretty much a young team, and we're looking in terms of rebuilding and establishing a winning record. Last year's record was 3-6, and we're looking to improve that record this year. What I see right now is, as you can see in the background here, we have a physical fitness test going on, and what we're trying to do is get an indication as to what type of shape our players are in.
Well, we've certainly had a lot of interesting experiences over the years, and most of them were fun, but a couple of them were a little bit harrowing, mostly due to bad weather. And there was one in particular that I really remember, even though it was a long time ago, when we went out to Dallenbach's with a science trip. Tell us what happened with that.
Well, again, it was bad weather. I guess I wasn't too prepared for the situation. We were going out to tape a field trip the science class was having, and you'll see in the footage the clouds rolling in over our heads, and the ground was all muddy, and I just happened to wear some brand new shoes that day, and I think for most of the shooting I stayed behind on the banks while you and Peter, who had boots on, walked through the mud, and I ended up losing some shoes that day, but we'll take a look at some of that footage.
Great.
Once again, remember, it's an animal. Tell them a couple things. First of all, they can touch it, to be careful, not to hurt it. And what are you going to do with this animal after you're done with your lesson? And tell them why. Okay, it's a lesson for them to learn there, too, isn't it?
Muskrat Lodge. See if they can build something just like an imitation. Okay, come on. We're almost done. What? We're almost done. Come here. Help. Do is make a little...
We also went on several other trips outside the district, and we'll look at some of those tapes now.
The name of the town, can you pronounce it? That was Parlin. Look on the left for a minute. There used to be clay down there. The clay has been dug out. Down there you can see the clay pits and man-made lakes. Boys and girls, we're almost at the Monmouth Museum. May I have your attention? We're going to learn about a community long ago. The community would be an Indian community, the Lenape Indians.
Lenape Indians did not like to be indoors. They didn't like to be in the wigwam. It was kind of musty and hot and smelly. So if they had to be indoors, it would be in the winter when the weather was really rough. Now, we are going to go into the wigwam, but before we go in, I want you to tell me, when do you think they built the wigwam?
Oh, summer.
No, it's a tricky, yes, they built it in the spring. And the reason for that is in the spring, the sap runs up the tree.
Our schools have been involved with the Lincoln Center Institute for several years, and everybody who has been involved with the programs considers them outstanding. Mark, could you begin by telling us a little bit about the Institute? When did it start, and what exactly do you do here?
Well, it would be giving away trade secrets if I told you what I did. But no, the Institute actually began in 1974, but it grew out of actually a longer history, another decade or so of educational activity on the part of Lincoln Center. And it grew out of the need, we felt, to make much closer connections between performing arts institutions and the schools in our area.
The beavers, who are total vegetarians, I guess you could say, they're not designed to eat any meat at all. They don't have any sharp points. They're pretty much flat, broad teeth, so they can grind up the vegetation. I'll pass that around, so those of you who didn't see it, pass it to those who are in need of seeing it. Okay, so we talked about our front teeth and how that was an adaptation.
Okay, we're going to be doing an art in nature, drawing and painting actually color resist, and we're going to be using crayons, and then we're going to be using a watercolor wash over it. We have such a beautiful, beautiful area here that artists for centuries have used nature as an inspiration for their paintings. And we're going to look and see what you would like to do in the painting. What are some of the things that you could see here that you might draw? What are some trees? Okay, lots of different trees. Some of the trees have not even fully come out. The leaves, you don't even see all of the leaves yet. So you really see the structure of the trees. What other kind of trees do you have? What two different kinds of trees we talked about?
Dave, what have you enjoyed most about being the director of this show?
There's a couple things. Obviously, going out and taping all the kids as they're learning is really great to watch. The other thing I always got a kick out of was going back and visiting some of my old teachers, including my wife, and putting them on the spot with the camera in front of their face, and that's always kind of funny. The other thing I like, too, is that we get a lot of calls from parents who either saw their child on or heard that their child was on TV, and they want to get copies of the footage and you know, see their kids in action in school, and those types of things have really been enjoyable.
Well, we have some tapes from your past people that you knew, and there are many of them, but we're going to just see three. First is Miss Mary Ann Savino, who was your teacher when you were in elementary school at Central School, and she's still there. And then we have Dr. Kenneth Burnett, who retired a few years ago after being in various positions in the district. And then Mr. Charles King, who, as you know, was the athletic director and a teacher and principal of the high school before he retired, and now he's a school board member.
Right.
So we'll look at those tapes now.
Okay.
One way of looking at prejudice might be looking at one thing, foods. Certain types of foods we automatically say a negative thing towards. Today, we're going to use bread as an example of that. And Lori was kind enough to label all the different types of bread on the back table, and I wrote all the word names on the front board for us. These are only 15 samples of the different types of breads. And we're going to have an opportunity to look at some of them. On an index card, you're going to have and take and divide into 3 columns. Breads you've liked, breads you've never tried and might like to try, breads you've never tried and would not like to try. What do you think shows prejudice? Greenie.
You never tried and don't want to try.
Okay. Why do you think so, honey?
Because you were thinking because of color.
Because of the color? Okay.
I think for me, the most rewarding things which have happened over the years have come through the contact I've had now and then with adults who I knew as children in the district. And since I've lived in the community also for better than 30 years, I've had the opportunity to run into them sometimes 10, 15, or 25 years after my contact with them. And number one, the fact that they still recognized me and remembered me was rewarding in itself. But so often they'd say something like, gee, remember what a pain I was back there in 10th grade, or remember all the trouble I had, or do you remember doing this? And I guess the realization that I must have in some small way made a meaningful difference in that person's life has been a most rewarding thing.
Well, I arrived here as a reasonably young man, just back from Vietnam in 1966. And it was an exciting place. It was growing. There were still a few farms around. Matter of fact, quite a few farms, and the roads were still quite rural. And it was an innovative, progressive district, a district that wanted to get things done. And sometimes we went in the right roads, and sometimes we had to take a few detours. But I think that's what you have with a growing, innovative district. And as time progressed, building really took a rapid turn in East Brunswick, and Route 18 became the parking lot that it is at the present time, and the schools got larger, and schools were built, several elementary schools, and it seemed like at that time we would redistrict them every couple of years, and that was always a fun process to go through, even though personally I was kind of a bystander to that process, because the high school doesn't get redistricted when that does happen. But when I first came here in '66, to go back to that, we had some ninth graders at the high school. Matter of fact, I taught ninth graders American history the first year, United States history, the first year that I was here. There were some ninth graders at Hammarskjöld, and there were ninth graders at Churchill. So the ninth grade was located in 3 separate buildings that year. That lasted a year or so, and then the high school changed to 10 to 12 building, which it's been ever since then. But it was an exciting place.
We also did several editions of Welcome to East Brunswick Public Schools, which is an overview of the district. And I know those programs required a lot of work on your part. How did you go about putting them together?
Well, it is a lot of work. Basically, we have so many hours of footage covering the schools throughout the year, and even footage from years past. And it's just a matter of sitting down and going through those hours and hours of footage, trying to find the right shots. But thankfully, due to you, it's well scripted, and it makes it a lot easier. I know exactly where I want to go with the shots because of a good script, and so it's just a matter of sitting down. And the other thing that we do is it's done over the summer, so we're not really in production with the regular show, so it's a good summer project for us, but it is a lot of work to put that together.
And we have a tape of the very first one we did of that, so we can see that now.
Okay.
Reading comprehension and writing, right from the start. Within our heterogeneous elementary classes, students are placed in groups for reading and math. However, grouping is flexible. Students may move from one group to another during the year, depending on their progress. Our elementary science curriculum includes units on the biology and physical sciences. Field studies in the environmental sciences are part of class activities. We also have a portable planetarium, which the students use in their study of astronomy. Our elementary social studies program is based on the concept of expanding horizons.
Our students win a wide array of awards in county, state, and even national competitions in just about every subject area, including art, writing, mathematics, music, social studies, and science. Our Board of Education presents certificates to students who win such awards to demonstrate the district's pride in their accomplishments.
You also did a tremendous amount of work editing the year in review shows that we've done, and 2 of those have won awards in communications competitions sponsored by the New Jersey School Administrators Association, School Boards Association, and School Business Officials Association. So we'll look at some of those tapes.
Okay, yeah, these are some of my favorites because of all the variety. These are shows that are made up of all the news spots that we did throughout the year with the schools, and it's just a fun show to put together at the end of the year.
Yeah. 5th graders at Central School presented First Ladies, Ladies First, a musical about the contributions of women in America. The production was part of a project entitled Women in History that was funded by the foundation in cooperation with a grant from Target stores.
Mary, those times tried men's souls, but we did persevere. realized that Martha spent several cold winters caring for General Washington and his weary soldiers. It's up to you, boys, to see us through.
Students in the Institute for Political and Legal Education classes at East Brunswick High School upheld the school tradition by scoring in the top 10 in the nation in the We the People, the Citizen, and the Constitution contest. Our high school is the only school in the nation to be in the top 10 in the national finals. All 12 years the contest has been held. 2 East Brunswick High School athletic teams won state championships this year. The boys volleyball team won the state championship and was ranked #1 in the state. The girls basketball team won the state Group 4 championship and became a semi-finalist in the Tournament of Champions. In May, we received the long-awaited news that Chittick School had been designated a Blue Ribbon School, National School of Excellence by the United States Department of Education. Congressman Rush Holt visited the school during the week that the award was announced. Of course, the year ended with graduation ceremonies for the class of 1999. It has been a great year, actually a great decade for the East Brunswick Public Schools.
One of the recurring stories over the years has been the use of technology, which is, as you know, has grown tremendously. The first program to feature technology was in 1982, which is hard to believe, and we're going to see a clip from that show and one from 1996 when the district's new network was initiated.
Yeah, I think people will really like these 2 clips because we were both amazed at the advancement in computer technology, so I think people will like seeing these.
What is our general philosophy? What is it that we're attempting to do?
What we're trying to do is have the computer to be used by the student more as a tool rather than a toy. Much of the material that's available is in a program learning sense. In other words, computer-assisted instruction is a device where you sort of fill in the blank. We're trying to get it to the point where it's not like that, where a student will take the computer and use it the way most people use a calculator today.
The second part of the program deals with the actual hands-on usage of a computer by the students. Because we have one terminal in each building, students pair up, and while one works with the terminal, the other, in a way, edits what's being done and also is giving input into the use of the computer. The terminal, as I mentioned before, is hooked up to the board office, and there is direct access once it is turned on in the school.
I have to tell you that the project that you're doing here in East Brunswick today is to the standard net day about the way the space shuttle is to the Wright brothers biplane. The standard net day is to wire 5 classrooms and a computer center with category 5 cable, and using that enable the computers in each of those rooms to hook up to the internet. What you are doing here today is light years beyond that.
Yeah.
Dave, what other memorable moments would you like to talk about?
A couple of them. I've always liked when we've gone out to cover the students when they're receiving awards or something, and what comes to mind is over the years, almost probably every year, we've taped the IPL classes coming back from Washington, D.C. with their awards. Some of the other things have been covering the Blue Ribbon school recognition ceremonies where they raise the flag of excellence. They've been some real great spots. And also, during some of them, you've interviewed Governor Florio, and on another occasion, you interviewed Governor Christie Whitman. And the other thing I like about the show is unfortunately, people don't get to see this, but some of the funny outtakes, and we even had a few in the beginning of this show, but with Dr. Kopko and some of the guests, that doesn't always make the show, but they're always a lot of fun, too.
It's really great to see students of...
No, I'm getting blamed for that. I'm getting blamed for that.
Okay, I have to think of something disgusting here.
Following the Shoestring Players, we'll see Midsummer Night's Dream and then Richard III being discussed. That's the simplest way to do it. Okay?
Oh, come on. I got it right the first time.
Hi, I'm Amy Fisher, and I'm at the... let me start over. Blah.
This concludes a very exciting program at Chittick School, where every day is a blue ribbon day. I just threw that in. I ad-lib. Was that all right?
Hey, we're on a roll today, huh?
All right, we'll start over.
Thanks.
It looks as though we're just about out of time, not only for this show, but for my being the producer of this show. And I just want to say thank you, Dave. Thanks for the memories.
You're welcome, Amy, and thank you for all the great years of programming that you've provided us to show on Channel 8. It's been wonderful.
Okay, well, bye.
I'd like to welcome you to the first Spotlight on Education program on Channel 8.